aika huivit ylös nostaa. SJK! Ei me luovuteta koskaan, ei koskaan. SJK! Jos et tajunnut tosta, niin se Seinäjoen jalkapallokerho. SJK! Ja muita joo, eikä tuu, se on meidän kerho. Pallo keskelle ja menossi aika, mutta odotuks se kentällä teoiksi? Oltiin sitten kotona tai vieralla maalla, niin ei meiltä pisteitä niin vaan saada. Kentältä et löydä heikkoa lenkkiä tasapainoa.
Okay, this is Mark and Jules. We're just doing some quick, I don't know, sharing some thoughts after the SJK supporters meet the manager event, really. We were there for about an hour and a half. It was led by technical director Richie Dorman and was with Stevie Grieve. And they talked us through how they thought things had gone in 2024, what their kind of plans are for 2025 and how things are developing there, and then answered a ton of questions from the fans. Jules, what were your impressions?
As these events are, very open, very insightful. It's a great thing that the club reach out to do these things with us, the fans, and give us some insight about what's going on behind the scenes and what we can expect from next season.
Yeah, it was surprisingly open at the beginning. Steve, before it even started, Stevie said to us, "So, are you recording then?" It's like,
Yep.
Well, this is like, maybe between us and the fans, and or between you and the fans, and maybe everything shouldn't be recorded and published. And I think, with hindsight, that was probably wise.
There was no massive secrets that we're not giving away our strategy for next season. And I suppose he'd be thankful because Richie did put him on the spot right off by asking some who was the best player last season and who to look out for next season, like demanding names and stuff. So
yeah, it was quite good sort of interaction between the two of them, wasn't it? Like, you can see they've got a good working relationship, and they're quite happy to sort of tease each other or sort of have a little dig at each other as well, and bringing some of those day-to-day conversations into that meeting. So what did Stevie say? He said that he thought that the most impactful players from last year were Kelvin Pires, Babukar Fati, and
Hanola.
Puru Hanola. Yeah, and Richie put him on the spot. Who was his number one? And he said that Puru, not only for the way he played, but the way he had developed from last year into that player that he became this year.
Yeah, and it was very interesting to find out that the replacement for centre back with Tiki leaving, Tikkanen leaving, then so that's well underway, and there seems to be a short list of players now. So.
Yeah, there have been a couple of players signed already, a couple of young Finnish players, and Stevie said that he was very excited about seeing Marius Kunkala playing this season, that he hasn't perhaps been really given a chance to show what he can do in other clubs that he's played for in recent seasons, and that he thinks the way that SJK plays will bring out the best in him.
Yep.
Also talked about one or two players that might come up from the academy side. Can you remember those names, or should I look them up?
Ola was one, but I can't remember what the surname was. He was saying he was good, but there's quite a few names.
I can remember that. That was Tessalimi.
Yeah, he was injured a lot last season, I believe. So yeah,
Tessalimi.
But yeah, quite a few players that they were highlighting to look out for and to bring in. As I suppose, like last season, there was quite a few players that came through and became, by the end of the season, were first team players.
Yeah, he particularly mentioned today Nathaniel Tambi in central defence, or maybe central midfield, the way he talked about him. Said he's very tall, powerful.
Yep.
Tall, powerful centre-back. 6'7" was what he said. Yeah, that's right.
Or was that what somebody's looking for? I can't remember.
I think he's got one and he wants another one, He also mentioned Shehu Suleiman, central midfielder. I think, is that the player he said is a bit like N'Golo Kante?
Yep, could have been.
Yeah. And he's 5'7", so we got, a very tall and a very short.
About halfway through this meeting, I thought I should be making notes here.
I did, when I was looking up some of the player names, he also said that Artu Atara from the academy last year may have a chance of breaking into the first team this year, and then one or two players that did sort of come to the squad anyway right at the end of the season was Mamadou Bojang.
Yep.
We didn't really see him play,
yep,
but Stevie said he brings something extra to the team, so it will be exciting to see. And
so in a way, there's more depth than last season already. So into the squad. So
yeah, and building on it. And Stevie also said, didn't he, that he's not going to the club saying we need 12 new players and rebuild again. Yeah. It's an evolution. So a lot of the players that were there last year will still be there. We talked about Ville Tikkanen leaving, Tuomas Kaukkua, Otto Kempäinen.
Yeah, his name wasn't mentioned. Yeah, but yeah.
But they left. Was it those two that left at the end of last season?
Yes.
And another one or two players were mentioned as leaving, but it's not been made official yet. So it's not our part, or not our place to break that news.
The other news is that, as it was the Veikkausliiga announced yesterday, then the structure will be different next year.
That was interesting. I hadn't seen that news
I hadn't
yet.
seen it either. Yeah. So
we're so good, Jules, at explaining how the end of season league competition
they
works.
Decided,
let's do this. Let's do this now.
Ditch that then. Yeah. So they've gone into it's going to be the end, except for the same as the previous seasons. At the end, the division is going to split into two: top half and bottom half. And the top half will play each other twice, home and away, and there will be no European qualifying games after that. So
yeah, that was really interesting, because I think unless you're in those Euro playoffs, you don't really care. Yeah. I remember one or two people in the Finnish football show WhatsApp group saying, "Oh, I could do without this. I don't care. It's not interesting." It was interesting for us because we were there all the way through. But so there would just be 10 more games after the split, and also means more home games. So for the club, it's good. There's 5 guaranteed home games at
also,
the end of the
season.
season.
For fans, it's easier if you've got the playoff games. They're also they're uncertain. You qualify. The season ends, and then the next week starts the playoff games. And if you get through that, then there's the next game on Saturday. So fans can't plan anything that they don't know. Oh, there's a game next Saturday. So with this, when the main season ends, then you can actually see, okay, second week of November or whenever the finished season ends, SJK got a home game, I can go there, rather than there's a home game on Wednesday, or there's an away game. I'm working then, I can't make it. But then if more planning, more time in ahead, then you can rearrange your shifts and get to the away games.
Yeah, but the other slight difference is the teams finishing in the bottom half of the table, where we definitely are not aiming to be next year. But those teams will only play each other once, as they have done this season. I guess if you're down there, dragging it out over another 10 games would be a bit of a slog. Maybe that's the thinking.
Yep. I suppose you want it over and done with as soon as possible. So
the other thing, we were just at the end of the meeting. We had a very interesting conversation with Stevie and Rich that we absolutely can't talk about yet, but will become clear perhaps in the new year. But then we were talking to some of the guys from the Cloppit Association, and they were saying about needing a supporter liaison officer, an SLO, for the 2025 season. This has been our friend Larry for as long as I've known the club, probably for as long as the club's been going. But he isn't going to continue doing that.
Well, he hasn't been doing it last year. We didn't need one, so now we didn't have one last season. And so, as I understand it, we need one as we're to be part of Europe.
Yes.
In the European game. So last season we didn't really need it. So yeah, there's a position vacant for anybody who wants to do lots of unpaid
liaising with other
work.
supporters.
Yeah.
But you know, it could be a good way to. I mean, I've got my other association. I've got 2 podcasts. I don't have time to be at SLO. But if you're listening to this and you think, actually, I could offer some hours to help the club, to help the supporters, and you know, networking, building your profile, whatever. If you're here in Seinäjoki and you think that sounds interesting to you, then the guys at the Cloppit will be interested to hear from you.
Yeah, indeed. So give them a call, contact them. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. That has done nothing to stop me being excited about the next season, Jules. I read this article I told you about, a very long article. I shared it in our SJK supporters. Oh, actually, Paul Riley shared it in the group. Really long interview with Stevie. That got me excited already for the new season. This meeting has done nothing to change that.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be pulling in the same direction, and I guess to the players that are listening to this, the staff, Stevie, Rich.
Let's put some background on this. Me and Mark are sat in the car outside OmaSp Stadion. It's 7 degrees, pouring down with rain. It's dark. It's miserable. When's the season going to start?
Yeah, exactly. Well, all of those people at the club have a good Christmas break.
Yep.
And we'll see them back in the new year.
Yep.
And well, by the beginning of the new year, nothing much is going to be changed. It's going to be dark, cold, and perhaps a bit snowier. That's all.
Yeah, normally we try and start this and end it in the same standard way, but we've got none of the actual lines in front of us. So, you can always contact us by Seinäjoki football supporters at something, or you can link a tree at linkedtree.Seinäjoki supporters something. You know where to find us.
It's no worse than when you normally do it, Jules. Anyway, to be honest. Thanks for this, mate. I think that's a good little summary of what we've just listened to. And listener, until the next time, thanks
and
for
before
listening.
the police comes along and asks what we're doing in this car.
What are you 2 men doing in this car? in a dark car.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Bye.